I didn't ask for much. Just one night. One goddamn night where no one would curve their lips and talk about hard times and forget that I even existed in this family. I just wanted to feel like it wasn't all for nothing. That my marriage, my blood, my years meant something. You know what the hardest thing about being 47? It's not the wrinkles or the ever-breaking joint. It's how easily you get overlooked. It's like you've become a piece of furniture. A woman who'll get over everything. That's exactly what I wanted to cross off. I wanted to get together with my family, have a little party. No fireworks. No pathos. Just us. And me in the center. You know, like once a year. And yes, I organized the whole thing myself. The restaurant is the same restaurant where Jason and I celebrated our first anniversary. Yeah, the one where he'd managed to forget my ring size but still wore that fake. I'm so touched, look. I made reservations, made the menu. Reminded my mom not to bring her eternal apple pie with the secret spice that makes your tongue burn. I even invited Hannah. Yeah, Hannah. My sister. She's quite the artist. Moved to Austin a year ago. New job, new start. Disappeared like a pepper in a soup. No calls, no holidays, and certainly no help when I was in trouble. And now all of a sudden she shows up. And I'm thinking like an idiot. Why don't I reset everything? Naive. And Jason, my husband, my partner, my number one headache, said, "You're doing the right thing. She's your family. It's all in the past." Yeah, past. Except for some reason I felt like the past was still under the bed somewhere. He offered to pick up Hannah and come over together. I was surprised at the time. "You don't think it's weird?" I asked. "We're all adults, Rachel. Don't start." When someone says, "Don't start," you know someone already has. And it's not you. I was here first. I checked everything, candles, glasses, seating. The waiters were there. I even got them to turn on my favorite soul song, the same one that was playing in the speakers when I left for school. Everything was just right. Even the air, it was like the air had evened out. Mom came in her canary yellow jacket, as if she'd decided to insult my taste just by being there. Dad followed her with a "Where have you brought me?" Look, it was classic. Then a cousin and her husband, the ones who always bring the on sale but French wine. They came in almost like a parade. Hannah in a loose dress but no way to hide her belly. Jason was next to her, shoulder to shoulder. His hand slid down her back as they walked to the table. And that was it. My mind clicked. I spent the rest of dinner on pins and needles. All the "what's up," the "you're looking good," the "many more years to you, darling." It sounded like a taunt. And then she stood up. "I'm pregnant," Hannah said. And no one even had time to be surprised when she added, "The father is Jason." I just walked out. Because if I'd stayed, I'd never come out again. And yeah, they thought that was it. That I would leave and swallow it. But you know what? That was their mistake. I went out, but not because I couldn't handle it. No. I just knew if I stayed out there one more minute I'd snap. And if I did, it wouldn't be a family scene, it'd be a live feed from hell. I stood on the corner breathing in the cold air and thought, why on earth did I think I deserved any respect? For what? For keeping quiet when my mom always made excuses for Hannah? For carrying our marriage on my back? Or for thinking time after time, maybe things will get better? A waitress came up to me, handed me my scarf I'd left behind. She said quietly, "Happy birthday, Miss Rachel." That was all I got that night. One scarf. One happy birthday. And a complete, ringing betrayal. I got in the car but I didn't drive. I just sat there, staring into the darkness. And I listened to something inside of me crackle. You know what's ironic? I even got them presents the night before. Little thank you boxes. I was gonna hand them out at the end of the night. For being there for them. I got home around midnight. Jason wasn't there. Not his jacket in the hallway, not his shoes. I even looked in the bathroom, the shelf was empty. He knew everything. He planned the whole thing. There was a bag in the kitchen. Inside was a package of baby food. A little bottle. Not mine. Not ours. He didn't just cheat on me. He decided to start a new life. And he did it on my birthday. With my sister. To my party. And that's when I didn't scream. I didn't break any dishes. I didn't sob. I sat down at my desk, I pulled out a notebook and I wrote, "Remember this day. Because from now on, You will no longer be the kind of woman you can break in silence. The next day the show started. In the morning a call from my mom. You didn't have to put on a show, she said. I didn't say anything. It's so complicated. Hannah's worried. She didn't mean to. She didn't want to? I said it again. What about Jason? He didn't mean it either? He was confused. Confused. So much for the explanation that apparently replaces morality. Then Hannah wrote herself. The message was, let's not turn this into a feud. We're still a family. Family. I wonder what dictionary defines family. As stealing your own sister's husband and announcing it publicly? I need a copy of this right away. But you know the best part? No one, not one has asked, how are you? Not one. No one asked what it was like to be stripped of everything, at a time when you just wanted to feel alive. I spent the whole day at home. No phone calls. No food. Just sat and looked at pictures. First trips. Silly smiles. Promises. All lies. But in the midst of those photos I came across something. Not a photo. Papers. Old documents. The insurance policy we took out together. Counseling notes from a counseling session. The one where he said he can no longer live with a woman who doesn't inspire him. I listened to it again. Slowly. All the way through. And I realized he'd never been honest. Not with me. Or with himself. Toward evening I put on my coat and went to the same restaurant. Yes, the same place. I just wanted to pick up the box left there with the very gifts for the guests. The naive thank you ritual I had so carefully prepared. The waiter recognized me. I'm sorry about the other night. I nodded. We still have your boxes. He brought them out one by one. Small, neat, wrapped in silver paper. I looked at them. The one labeled Hannah. For patience. You can throw that one away, I said. She's already been through everything. My husband, for instance. He didn't know whether to laugh or not. I didn't wait for a reaction. I just took the others. Not because I needed them. But to remind myself I tried. I really tried. On my way out, I looked in the mirror by the counter. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't see wife or sister or daughter. I saw a woman who had survived her own birthday. And now she's ready to live again. By her own rules. Without other people's games. The chapter's over. But the story's just beginning. What happened next changed everything. You don't want to miss how it unfolded. The next morning I woke up to a deafening silence. Not from the birds, not from the sun, the same silence that no longer held any illusions. Jason was gone. Not physically, not symbolically. No note, no call, not even an attempt to justify himself. All he'd left behind was an empty closet and a couple of dents on the wall where our pictures used to hang. First thing I did was check the account. Joint. Yesterday it was still there. Today it was 0. I sat there staring at the screen and laughing. No, not because it was funny. Just because it didn't hurt anymore. At 10 in the morning, I got a call from the bank. An employee with an "I'm sorry," but voice informed me that an authorization to transfer some assets had been signed on my behalf yesterday. I asked, "Did you check the signature?" "We had a scan." "Did anyone look at the date on it?" "Wait a minute." I heard the keys clacking. Then a pause. Then a new voice. "Security." They quickly realized something was wrong. The scan was old. Jason used it without authorization. But technically it wasn't the bank's fault. I mean, sure, they're sorry, but the money was already gone. I ended the conversation, hit disconnect, and realized that now it's all on me. And here's where most people would have screamed. I made myself breakfast. Scrambled eggs. Strong coffee. A napkin on my lap. Because even if the world is falling apart, that's no reason to lose your dignity. While I was eating, I got a text from Hannah. "You have to understand, we didn't mean to hurt you." I stared at the screen. The urge to write a reply flashed. Then I wanted to delete it. In the end, I just turned my phone off. Let her see what it felt like to talk to nothing. After noon, I went to my mom's. Not because I wanted to. Because I needed to figure out who knew, who didn't say anything, and who was faking it. My mom greeted me with a "We've been over this" look. "Sit down, Rachel." I made tea. "No thanks." "Better tell me." "Did you know?" She looked away. "It's none of your business. It's my husband. It's my sister. And it's my birthday. So it's very much mine." She sighed. Long tired. I suspected. But what could I do? Here it was. The most honest thing I've heard in days. You could have told me. You could have warned me. And destroy the family? She asked. I laughed. Loudly. Almost hysterical. Family? What family, Mom? The one where I'm being sold off piecemeal? She cried. And I stood up. Cry for all of us. I walked out. Without looking back. In the car I turned on the tape recorder. Yeah, the same one. The one from our old sessions. That's where he said, "Sometimes I think I made a mistake. We were too different. She always lived by feelings. And I've been logical. She doesn't know how to move forward." I stopped the tape. Logic, huh? And sleeping with my sister is by what logic? Then there's the lawyer. I went to him with records, papers, even a bank statement. He listened in silence. You have a strong position. But without publicity it's gonna be tough. Publicity? No. Not yet. But I could already sense they were getting into the wrong story. I got home that night. Jason's voice on the answering machine. "Rachel, I think we need to talk. We don't need to turn this into a war." War? He's calling it a war? Okay. Then let it be a war. But I'll be the one to write the ending. I went to bed without answering. But I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking, don't turn this into a war. Hannah and Jason had already burned everything to the ground. They'd taken my life and made it a staging post for their complexes. And now they wanted peace. I wanted justice. But not revenge. Because revenge is a cheap word. Justice is what I owed them. I took the morning off. I went to the notary's office. I ordered a certified letter. Revoking the power of attorney. Revoking all financial authorizations. Did you sign this? The clerk asked, showing me a copy from a week ago. It's my husband's handwriting. I didn't sign this. Then I'll call a lawyer. It's been a whirlwind. Copies, certificates, audio recordings. I brought it all in. Because I'm tired of being the, "I'll figure it out later" girl. I stopped at a drugstore on the way back. Not for pills. For a DNA test. Yeah. If they're gonna dump dirty laundry on a white tablecloth, I'm gonna wash it all. And you know what the most amazing thing is? While I was sitting in the car with a bag in my hands, Hannah texted again. "You're overreacting. Let's keep the parents out of it. We're all adults." Adults? Grown-ups don't use pregnancy as a cover. They don't sleep with their sister's husband. And they certainly don't make a toast at a holiday party out of it. I didn't answer. I just printed everything out, messages, transactions, audio recordings, and put it in one file. I called it family. Then I sat down at my desk, and I started writing a letter. Not to Mom. Not to Dad. Not to a lawyer. But to herself. Rachel. You're still here. You're breathing. They thought you'd fall, but you got up. You got up and now you're walking. Not back. You're going forward. Without them. Without their lies. Don't be afraid of your power. It's not malice. It's the truth. And the truth is your best friend now. I signed it. I put it in the drawer. And I realized it was just beginning. A day after all this, I got a call from my cousin, the one who usually only shows up to gossip. "Hey, listen, I know something's been going on over there." We did. I chuckled. We had a thing going on, like being given someone else's life on your birthday and being told, "Use it." She laughed awkwardly. "It's just, people talk. People always talk. Only when I didn't talk, everyone was happy. And now that I'm talking, everyone's uncomfortable?" She hesitated. Then she asked, "Are you going to do something public? What are they afraid of, the light or the truth?" After the call, I felt the circle narrowing. Those who used to call on holidays were gone. Those who had been supportive were now just watching. My father wrote a short note. "I hope you're doing well." Didn't even ask how I was doing. Didn't even call. And that's when I realized I was never protected. I was just tolerated as long as I was comfortable. I went to church this weekend. Not because I was looking for forgiveness. I was looking for silence. And there, among the pews and the old organ, I closed my eyes for the first time in a long time and didn't hear Hannah's voice. Not Jason's voice. Just my own. "You're alive," I whispered. "You're standing." I got up, walked outside, and saw a new message flashing on my answering machine. "Jason." Again. I didn't mean for it to go down like this. You have to understand we were just getting close. Things got out of control. We bonded. It's a word people use to cover anything they don't want to explain. I hit delete. That night I sat down at my desk and printed out the documents. I signed the folder, Final Part 1. Because yes, it wasn't the ending. It was only the middle. But the climax was already breathing down my neck. I realized that the climax is not the explosion. It's the moment when you walk into a room and no one looks you in the eye. That's exactly what happened on Monday when I went to the notary's office to file a report of attempted fraud. There was a young professional sitting at the desk, but when he saw the paperwork, he called an older man. "Miss Carson? We'll get back to you. This is serious." I left them a thumb drive with my notes on it, the papers, all the false signatures, all their moves, and I walked out. This time with the feeling that my every move was louder than their excuses. At the door I ran into Hannah. Her face was pale. "Rachel, please don't do this." I looked at her. "You chose to be honest publicly. Now honesty is getting in your way? It's gonna hurt the baby. He'll come into this world with the truth. Or a lie. I'm giving him a chance to be born into reality." She cried. For the first time for real. But I didn't hug her. And I didn't say, "I understand." 'Cause I don't. I went outside, took a deep breath. It wasn't the end. But it was the beginning of the end. On the way home, I stopped at the very coffee shop where the three of us had once sat. Me, Jason, and Hannah. At the time I thought it was just friendship. Just conversation. Just coffee. Today I sat at the same table. I ordered the same latte. And I took out my notebook. I wrote down 3 words. They got the wrong address. Because the woman they betrayed is no longer the same woman. She's awake. And now she's talking. And when a woman starts telling the truth, the world cracks. It's the climax. Everything you've been waiting for is right here. Stay to see the hero put everyone in their place. I wasn't planning on coming back. Not to this room. Not to these faces. But that's where I went Saturday night. My nephew's birthday party. The same round room with the low ceiling and helium balloons taped to the curtains. Where everything was supposed to be family-friendly. I entered quietly, no announcement, no pomp. Just walked between the tables and took a seat against the wall. My father was the first to see me. He stood up, nodded, but didn't come over. Mom didn't seem to notice. Hannah was sitting in the corner. She was wearing a black dress with a high waist. Her face had a tone that hid the circles under her eyes. Jason was standing next to her. His hand rested on her shoulder. He looked unsure. And for the first time out of place. Someone asked for toast. Then someone else. Everything was subdued. Tense. But the climax was already at the door. I knew no one could stop her. "Rachel," said my uncle, "would you like to say a few words?" I rose slowly. All eyes were on me. Those who knew froze. Those who had heard the rumors tensed. "I will. But not a few words. I'm gonna say something that should have been said a long time ago." I took out a speaker. Small, black, unmarked. I pressed the button. And Jason spoke. The same voice I'd recorded a year ago. "I don't feel anything for her. I don't see a future with her. I'm waiting for the moment when I can walk away clear." The room got so quiet you could hear someone drop a fork. "He didn't just leave," I said. "He left in a calculated way. Planned. He waited for the moment. And he chose my birthday." I turned off the tape. "You call that things got out of control?" "Jason, say it now." Loudly. In front of her family. In front of her unborn child. "He hasn't said a word." "Then I will. You both made a choice. Not a mistake, a choice. And now you both have to live with that choice. Without my excuses. Without my silence." I pulled an envelope out of my bag. Inside was a legal notice. Forwarded to counsel. List of violations. A list of actions. And a request for return of all assets transferred without consent. I put the envelope in front of Jason. "From this day forward, you're not related to me. Not legally. Not in good conscience." I turned to Hannah. "And you're not my sister. You're a man who chose himself. And now live with yourself." I walked past my mom. She wanted to say something. I raised my hand. Too late. And walked out. It was cool outside. but I could feel the heat. The kind that doesn't come from the sun, but from finally saying everything. It wasn't a scandal. It was a diagnosis. Out loud. To the whole family. I walked down the street slowly. The wind ruffled my hair, but inside there was silence. The kind of silence you don't hide in but live in. I didn't cry. Tears had been there before. It was different now. Now it was peace. Because justice had finally been served. My uncle called me in the evening. I didn't know. I'm sorry. It's not your place to apologize, I replied. But you're one of the few people who said anything. Then came a text from my mom. You could have done it differently. I stared at the screen for a long time. Then I wrote. And you could have protected me. But you didn't. I didn't send it. I just deleted it. Because dialogue is impossible when a person has chosen silence their whole life. The next day, I stopped by the lawyer's office. He nodded when he saw me. Did it go well? As it should have. Then the next step is to officially recover the assets. And referral to the fraud commission. We're on it. I signed the papers. My hand wasn't shaking. It wasn't revenge anymore. It was defense. Not the old me but the new me. Someone who no longer apologized for other people's mistakes. I moved out. I rented a small apartment in a nearby neighborhood. No loud walls, no pictures. But a window to the sunrise. And you know what's amazing? I didn't feel lonely. Just liberation. A week later Jason called me. I just wanted to, Don't call again. But you have to understand. No, Jason. I don't owe you anything. You do now. To live with yourself. And I hit reset. Then there was a letter from Hannah. Printed in an envelope. You can hate me. But I'm still your sister. I didn't open it. I just returned it to the mailman. Wrong address. Everything they tried to keep was shattered, not because I left loudly. It's because I didn't stay anymore. And yes, I miss you. Sometimes. Not them. I miss me, the naive one. Who thought family was a shield. Not a trap. But now I have me. And that's not nothing. A month later I was sitting on a bench in a city park. I had a book in my hands that I hadn't finished in 2 years. A thermos of coffee next to it. And no need to explain anything to anyone. A lot has happened in that time. I changed my cell phone number. I turned off social media. I focused on me. I went back to drawing. Little black and white sketches I did in college. I found an old binder of work, including a portrait of Hannah. Took a look. Put it back. And I said to myself, you don't have to keep anyone's face but your own. I signed up for the course not to start over but because I wanted to. No reason, no excuses. My life didn't become more beautiful, but it became more honest. One day it was rainy. I ran into an old coffee shop, the same one. The barista recognized me. You haven't been in for a while. Is everything all right? Never been better, I said, and for the first time I wasn't lying. He smiled. Is it your usual? No. Today was a new flavor. And it was true. I had changed. Not suddenly. Gradually. Not loudly. But inevitably. I wasn't playing comfortable anymore. No more trying to be liked. The people who were not against me but not for me were gone. And I didn't miss them. I wrote a letter. To myself. A year later. If you're reading this, know this. You survived. You came out. You spoke up. You weren't afraid. Don't let the pain silence you again. You deserve the light. I sealed the letter and put it in a drawer. It was my way of telling myself, I'm not leaving myself again. And if anyone else ever tries to cut me out of my own life again, let them first know how much it cost me to get myself back. 3 months later, I received an invitation to a wedding. Yeah, their wedding. Jason and Hannah. White envelope, black seal. It was like someone decided to throw symbolism on a plate. I wasn't angry. I wasn't surprised. I smiled. Because now I knew. Their marriage wasn't a union. It was a bargain. Between guilt and fear. Between wanting to forget and not being able to forgive myself. I didn't go. I didn't burn the invitation. I put it in the same box where I keep reminders. Not to remember, but to remember why you can never be silent again. Then I saw them. By chance. At the market. He was walking in front, she behind him. The baby in the stroller. Jason glanced away quickly, as if he'd seen a ghost. I looked straight ahead. No anger. No desire to prove it. 'Cause when you're free, you don't need a rematch. You've already won. I went to the florist, bought myself a bouquet. I do that every month. Not in honor of a date. It's in honor of me. Because I'm alive again. And if someone were to ask me, should you talk when you're in pain? I would say, silence is a comfort to those who hurt. And voice is armor for those who survive. I write this chapter today not out of anger, but out of clarity. Because everything I lost, I needed to get myself back. And you know what the most important thing is? I don't expect an apology. I'm not waiting for forgiveness. I don't expect closure. Because this is the ending. Just not theirs. It's mine. An ending where I'm whole. Without them,